This is the second part of the 24th chapter of your science. Essentially, this is the biology chapter of Living World Module 5, and we've done asexual reproduction. Today we'll do the sexual reproduction in plants and animals. Honestly, when I read about it, the context of it, it is pretty simple. It's pretty basic, and most of you would be able to, crack it if you do a little bit of goals, little bit of understanding of what these concepts are. You see, plants essentially are living things we cannot move. So for them, they need some external help. What kind of help can we expect from plants to have for the reproduction? Any idea? Things that move around them. What could it be? What are the things that move around plants?
Insects.
Insects. Okay. And then also wind. So what happens is, for pollination, essentially for plants to pollinate, which is the idea of their fertilization, for them to have cross breeding, they need wind. So they have, if you look at the plants, if you look at the amazing thing about a plant, you didn't mention insect, I'll come to insects. Do you see, what does it look like if it was not a plant like thing? What does it look like? I made it more difficult. Does it not look like a butterfly to all of you? A little bit of butterfly. The plants have a helicopter kind of or dandelion kind of a fruit hanging. The structure of a plant is like that they actually can fly very easily. Wind is a very essential tool for plant to pollinate. Of course, the second one is the insect. Especially insects like honeybee, small insects which are, butterflies, insects, dragonflies. Honeybees are responsible for 99% of pollination. And that's like 1% of everything else. If the honeybees are extinct from the planet Earth, humans can only survive for one day. Unless you have all those Dabur honeys stored in your refrigerators, there will be no more food production. This is how important pollination of plants is. So, the whole structure of a plant is meant that bees are attracted, insects are attracted. So, what is the most important part of a plant? A part which attracts insects in a plant? What is it that
Flower.
even flower, right? No wonder humans have taken 14th of February, and that's what you give, right? Everyone starts giving flowers to everybody. Why? Because, oh, plant can reproduce. We also need a Valentine gift, and that's a flower. That is why you see different plants have different flowers. Flowers are colorful. The most colorful plant, the most colorful part of a plant is a flower. So a rose or a sunflower or dandelion or lily or any other plant that we know, the flowers of different colors because they are essential for being attractive, and that is where the insects come in. So this is a very interesting part. You see, if you look at this structure again, you see this part is the most essential part of a plant. We'll discuss this, which has stigma, style, pollen, right? It is the part of the plant where we need a plant to, emit scents, fragrance, and plants will come in. There are two type of pollination. If I can just take a concept into a technical term, which is actually a question that you have. So there is self and cross pollination. What do you think? What is the difference between a self खुद pollinate करते हैं and cross, somebody crosses? What do you think? What's a self and a cross pollination? Important exam question for all of you. Any idea? Anyone wants to attempt? I said this is concept and understanding. The moment you have a concept, your understanding becomes easy. So what are we looking into? Let's say the pollens of the same flower on the stigma, right? And then fertilizes the ovule of the same flower. So you have ovule, and we'll show you the plant, and you have got the stigma. It's the same flower itself. If the pollen from one flower, it sticks to the insect and then falls on the stigma of another flower, the ovule fertilizes, is called cross. So it is as simple as a pollen where it is. I'll share the guide and I'll share this with you. It is pretty interesting also. And so we go to the reproduction part of our, and we cover the asexual. So we go grafting and all of it that you do, tissue culture, cloning, and then we go here And if you look at this, this is how a plant structure is looking like. This is where the ovary is. Ovary of the plant is around. And then you say style. Style marta hai na, style. Style is a long tube, and then there is a stigma, and you have the anthers, and then you have the petals. This is how a plant will look like. Very simple. The part of the pistil. So the pistil, which is very important. Remember the word pistil in a plant, are stigma, style, and ovary. Most of the plant might have the same. So plant have stigma, style, and ovary. Male and female part both. They are bisexual plants. Some plants only have male, and female have the ovary part, which is the gynoecium, which is the unisexual. So these are words. These are words. In biology, a lot of it is about words that you learn. This is a very simple part with just the reproductive parts of a plant. Next time when you have a Valentine's gift to give to somebody, you can say, look, this is not just a flower. It has anther and stigma and style and ovary. By the way, this is a bisexual plant. And what will you get in return? Correct? And nobody will listen to you. Muslim, be careful, all right? Yeah, don't go to Dubai with all this understanding of a plant flower. Okay. Now, when you understand that, this is what we have to understand. Self-pollination and cross-pollination. So when the pollen of a plant has, falls on the own stigma, now you know what stigma is. It fertilizes ovule in the same plant, the same flower itself. Agar ye ud ke chala gaya and went to a different flower, it's cross-pollination. This is a structure that I would like you to remember. Good enough? At least you understand. Trust me, I hated the chapter of stigma, style, pollen when my teacher taught me, because she never introduced Valentine's Day. She never told me why it is important. So today, at least I am telling you, all you have to do is just understand the importance of this. It's not difficult. It's a concept you learn. And these are the exam questions you got. So here it is again. So this is a pollen path. It's a question again, a question on your exam paper. How does the pollen take a path? So pollen, okay. So the pollen basically is where all of these are the sperms of the plant. They need to go somewhere, right? So the pollen takes a path. So the pollen comes over here. It goes down stamen, and then there is pistil. Pistil, all right? Remember, pistil is the most important part. You remove the pistil, the plant cannot reproduce. The pollen goes up all the way to the ovule, and that is where the pollination happens. We use the word pollination. It's a fertilization of the plant. That's the part we are talking about. See, it's a path. So if there's a question, what is the path? What is the pollen path? Please draw this diagram. It's not difficult diagram. It's a flower, but it's not a typical flower that you draw, right? If I ask any child to draw a flower, stop thinking like you're small. How will you draw a flower? Can you all draw a flower for me here? Most of you will have this, isn't it? This is all kind of flower we've drawn. Is that how you draw a flower? Yes? Most of you have flowers which is like looking like this, isn't it? Stop drawing flowers like that. Khatam ho gaya. In your 10th NIS, there is no flower like that. Your new flower style is the flower I showed you. Remember, these are what I call the anthers. This is the outside part of it. Pollens are small grain-like things. So there is a sac out here, and then the pollen follows all the way around, right? And then it goes to pistil, and it goes to ovary. This, if you understand this diagram, you have understood everything that you need to know about a plant pollination path. This is as simple as that. Correct? So you can do so many things. Now see, how do plant do it? Very interesting. I thought I'll put some trivias for you. Plant have, Velcro-like thing. So when a bird or an insect comes in, they attach themselves. Pollen attach themselves to it. They stick themselves to it. Then they become very light. They want them to fly away as far as the wind can fly. Look at the way the nature has developed this system. Eventually, they'll drop to the ground, and then from the ground, pollen converts itself into seeds, and the seeds will germinate. So these seeds also are plant food. So these birds will take the fruit. They look very tasty. They pass through it, and now you have already automatic digestive system of a bird. And again, the nutrients required, the seed helps grow, and that's how plant wants to go to different places. Imagine if there is a little plant sitting out here in Mumbai and says, "Arey yaar, America ka visa hi nahi mil raha hai." So, okay, what do I do for America's visa? Ah, flamingos. You are a pink city, Navi Mumbai. So they now start encouraging a flamingo, and they have somehow have to get to the flamingo stomach, because when flamingo will migrate, they did not know the flamingo instead of America, it went to Syria. Unfortunately, America से problem हो गया, वो Russia पहुंच गया. But at the end of the day, this is how all of the pollination of plants happen. There's something called drop and roll. Interestingly, there is a horse chestnut. They have round, seeds, fruits basically, which is where it falls to the ground, it rolls, starts rolling away like a Humpty Dumpty. Rolls, rolls, rolls. It rolls as far as it can, and then it starts growing into a new. It will pick it up. See, these are real pictures. Very, very amusing way of plants to fertilize. How plants, they will do anything to fertilize. This is a simple concept of plant fertilization. We'll take a understanding of human fertilization, but did you understand the fertilization? The fertilized ovules develop into seeds which are capable of germinating into seedlings and new plants. Good enough? A thumbs up if you understood, a thumbs up if you okay with it, and we can go ahead. Thank you, Safia. All right. Farhana, good? Mudabbir, thank you. Good enough? Okay. So all of you now, next time you will see a plant and a fruit. Ah, very smart. Beta, tere ko fertilize karna hai. I know all these tricks that you all do to attract other birds. Now you know, right? They may not sing Shah Rukh Khan songs, but they have their own tricks to attract and fertilize. Do you realize, Lincolns, this is how human evolve. We all have the need of procreation. What is a banyan tree to do with it? Why should a palm be interested? Why should a lotus or a lily be interested? This is a natural need in a living being to procreate. Why do your parents love you so much? I mean, you don't deserve that love, do you? Look at your wardrobes. If you go in somebody's home and open up the almirah, you don't deserve the love. But that's a human need, and people are smiling because they know who I'm speaking about. So let's come to your life. Human life stages. This is your life stage. Can you tell me in a circle, where are you right now? Which stage are you in? Which stage of your life are you in? Have I enabled the annotation? I have, right? Yes. Okay. All right. Everybody thinks you're adolescent, but the way you behave, you must be like a baby, isn't it? Okay. So you are at an adolescent stage, the teenager stage. This is where your hormones are all popping in. You are developing different ideas, and this is very important. So one of the stage that we are talking about, a very important stage that we're talking about, is a puberty stage. It's a stage which begins when you have physical change in your body. The boys, and it's sometimes, we're embarrassed to talk about it, but you need to know there'll be growth of hairs, the growth of hairs and the armpit, underarm hairs, there's facial hair, right? And the voice becomes deeper. Hello, how are you? I had a friend, right? He went for a vacation. He had a very girlish voice. After vacation, he came. He like, oh, kaisa hai? And we should call him Poth. Poth means buffalo. He's my best friend now. And suddenly we didn't know. That time we said, "Arey, kya ho gaya? Kuch to lagaya usne." Now it's adolescent. It's puberty. Correct? Your height increased suddenly. Oh my God! Look at Yusuf. Oh, he's become tall now. Your height increased. So don't be afraid, right? You have menstruation for girls, which is important to know. You accept that as a body you grow. Two hormones. Two hormones which are very important, and you should become friends with the hormones, is testosterone and estrogen. These are the hormones that will start being released by the body. They're also called sex hormones, but they're responsible in the post-puberty time. When the body undergoes natural change, this is a time, it's called adolescence. You have different ideas, you have mood swings. How many of you have mood swings here? Welcome to the world of being a teenager, right? So I think your younger sisters and brothers, I should have a session with them when your elders have mood swings, or the parents should know, oh, this is a teenage stage. There's nothing you can do about it. Only you can help yourself. So why am I taking this here? This is a human life stage, and it's a stage where we talk about human reproduction. A lot of conversation I do. I hope you're at least understanding, smiling. Okay, sir, we get the point. Let's come to generally, when I say human, animals is the word. So we did plant reproduction. Let's talk about animal reproduction. Okay, just look at the picture and try attempting the difference between oviparous and viviparous. What are they? What's that? You look at the animals and you can tell me. What do you think? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, attempt, Sophia.
Oviparous means maybe that the animals or which lay egg,
Okay, all right. And
and
viviparous.
viviparous are the ones who do not lay egg.
Okay, very close, but there are some animals like say frogs where we are a part of viviparous. Okay, but yeah, no, you're right. It's all about oviparous and viviparous. Is mammals, reptiles, and birds are oviparous. But you see the formation of a fetus, correct? It also is about the formation of a zygote. The development occurs completely inside the body, right, or inside the egg. Inside the egg, these animals are oviparous. Ovi is also a word used for birds. Remember. So when the development of the zygote formation occurs partially or completely inside the egg, which is you're right, and the only creatures who don't lay eggs are mammals. So all of us, including cats and dogs and tigers and whales, are oviparous. All right. So in some creatures, there are no male and female. It's just one person responsible for laying the eggs. Remember, I told you who are there? Godzilla. Godzilla is responsible. And if Godzilla is too difficult an answer, exam में teacher को समझ नहीं पड़ेगा, then you write tapeworm and earthworm. They are called hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite. In today's, we have a different version of it, and we may talk about it in a different section, right? On sex education itself. But tapeworm and earthworm, they don't celebrate Valentine's Day because they don't have to give gift to anybody. वो खुद ही लेते हैं, खुद ही. So they are hermaphrodites. They have the same male and female sex organs. Ovi and viviparous is important for us to understand how the growth happens. Okay, this is the only technical part you learn now, because I'll show you some of the male and female organs and you will understand how a program happens. The embryo tails. I thought I'll call you the embryo tails. So two only important diagram, and I try to choose the easiest and the simplest of diagram with humans, is the reproductive organs for male and female. Humans, and male and female are responsible for procreation. We're responsible for growth. We're responsible for new life. And the organs are sperm. For male, it's sperm, and for female, it is ovaries. Right? Now, you see, there are a pair of testicles. Where are the testes? So let me go back and show that to you. This is a testis, of course. And I know, do not be ashamed or shy to ask questions. It is important we learn. One of the acute cases of cancer happens in testes, right? It's a prostate cancer, right? So there's a prostate gland here, which is, do you know about Lance Armstrong? Lance Armstrong, he had prostate cancer. So this is all a part of human reproduction. A very important question that always is usually asked is, where is the sperm formed? So the sperm arises from the testis and passes to the body through a duct, and this is called vas deferens. Vas deferens is a duct. So there you are two ducts. So you see, when the sperm is released in the testis, it goes to this path and all the way out here and out here. Interesting, isn't it, how it goes across? And then it will go to penis. So this is an human reproduction, male reproduction organ. Key things you need to understand is what is testis, what is prostate gland, and what is vas deferens. All right. A lot of us, our bladder control, is it voluntarily or involuntarily? Go ahead. One word answer. Voluntarily or involuntary? Tell me, V or I? Bladder control. V, I. What do you mean by bladder control? When you want to go to urine, right? There's some people who cannot control urine. Kids, small kids, old age people, पेशाब हो जाती है उनसे. They can't control themselves. This is a bladder. The bladder has these membranes. When the liquid starts falling in the membrane, let's say the liquid starts coming at this level, gets this level, your bladder starts telling you that let's go and it's time to pee. This is called bladder control. A lot of athletes need better bladder control. Good bladder control is important in adolescence. Drink lot of water, be healthy, and ensure that you go frequently and you understand how to understand and control the bladder. Correct? So this is a human reproductive organ, especially male reproductive organ. Let's go to the female reproductive organ. So this is, looks more like a man with a muscle, right? Right? Remember, it's easy for you to draw. Exam questions, you can learn it. This is the male one. It's like, all right, you draw all those, it's all curvatures. Female is like this. What are the key parts in a female reproductive organ? Again, ovaries. So female again have a pair of ovaries. Where are these? So ovary number 1, ovary number 2. Pair of ovaries that are very important. Uterus, which is exactly where which is where the womb formation will start. It's a place of birth. It's a place where child will grow. It's a place of fertilization. Uterus, so important. They wanted to make the Barbie doll so nice, slim, they remove the uterus for her. Uterus is what makes woman a mother, and they have no uterus at all. So the womb formation, the embryo develops in the uterus. There is vagina, which is the opening of a female sexual organ, correct? And then you have this, how you have vas differentius, you have the fallopian tube. These are words, and trust me, you will learn. You will learn all of it. It's a part of human biology. It's not about if you like biology or not. It's a part of your human growth. Fallopian tubes are the ducts, oviducts, in which the egg pass from the ovaries to the uterus. From the ovaries, the eggs pass on. So this is the same path to the uterus. Fallopian tubes. Are you all with me? It's a very simple concept. It's a very easy concept. I know I probably am just telling you concepts. I'm trying to make it interactive, but I hope these are terminologies that get ingrained in your mind. Of course, at the end of it, I will run through the whole thing again. I'll run through one more time so that you know before I come to the last part. The last part, and then we have got only questions and answers around it, is called fertilization. So now you understood the male reproductive part, you understood the female reproductive part. Now what do we do next? Where do we go next? So we go to a very, very simple idea that sperm plus ovary, which is the egg. So you see here, there is a sperm now. So there are countless number of sperms that enter. Only one sperm will fertilize. Imagine, only one sperm. So of course, if it's twin, there'll be twice. So 2 fertilizations, triplets 3, but it's a rare occurrences. Correct? Usually twins and triplets happen during artificial insemination. Surrogacy. A lot of time they happen because when you're artificially fertilizing, the chances of sperm fertilization are higher. That's why you have twins and triplets. Doesn't mean every twin is artificially inseminated person, all right? But sperms and then ovum, which is the egg formation, they form what we know as zygote. Good. Zygote leads to embryo in the womb, and this process is called fertilization. It's an exam question. I keep telling you that you can read about it as you love, but my focus here is to make sure to prepare you for the exams. These are small drawings that you will have to pick up. All the presentations I will put in a drive so you can derive it. You see some of the easiest presentations are what I try to get it for you, and you will learn. The process is also called Genesis. The first chapter of a Bible is called Genesis. Genesis means to give birth or to generate. Genesis in Bible means the earth came into being. This is also Genesis. It's a part of what is written in your textbook. So far, so good. Are we good to go? One very important terminology that you need to learn is the formation of the hormones. So here you are. Where do we go next is a very important thing. You see, there are 2 very, very important hormones for fertilization. I told you the sex hormones are estrogen and testosterone. Testosterone here, if you can see as testosterone, it is a male sex hormone, and estrogen is a female sex hormone. There are 2 more hormones released from the pituitary gland called LH and FSH. You don't have to learn the full form. It is not in your book, but it is called luteinizing hormone, and FSH is called follicle stimulating hormone. This is for the female. this is for the LH is for the male. You can also use a different word as written in your book for LH and FSH. FSH is egg mature and LH is egg shed. Egg, EGG egg, egg shed and egg mature. Good enough. I'll run through these again just for your understanding. Where did we go with our? So there we are. We went to human life stage. In the human life stage, we discussed about two different kind of reproduction. One with the eggs, the oviparous, one without it, the mammals, viviparous. And we spoke very basic thing about the human reproductive system. The male reproductive system has testes, prostate gland, vas differentia, and we spoke about the utra, which controls the bladder. Female reproductive organ, we spoke about the ovary, which has fallopian tube that goes to uterus, which is where the fertilization and the embryo is formed, and then there is vagina. The fertilization, a very important process which leads to zygote formation inside the womb, and the two hormones which are responsible for these fertilization in pituitary gland is LH, egg shed, and FSH, right? Egg mature, and the two sex hormones are testosterone and estrogen. So when you start learning so much about human, this is what happens, right? Humans reproduce and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce so much, and then now we are almost at, our figures are not there. 20. What is the current number now? How many humans in the world? So what's the current number? So you saw 1990, 5.3 billion.
8.1, I think. 8.1 billion.
Okay, we are close to 8.5 or 8.1. All right, thank you, Daniel. So we are almost troubling and tripling as we are going ahead. By 2050 or 2030, our SDG goal will be 8.6, which are old statistics. Now, suddenly, it is actually reaching 10 billion. So all this reproduction system is leading to 10 billion people. China, of course, is leading. India is saying, "Kahin to humko aage aana hai." We're going in demographics, and it's a huge population explosion that's coming in. There are two different versions. One version, of course, which says that the earth does have very finite resources, and if you don't work on it, we will not be able to, save the earth. A brilliant researcher, really brilliant. I will put his link in the LinkedIn group. I want you to look at his TED talk. It's called Hans Rosling, who just died 3 years back. Hans Rosling has created the human population explosion in such a funny way, you will love it. He has created a lot of graphs, and he used IKEA trolleys to explain about human fertilization. I will show you one of the trolley he has. If you see this trolley here, he's used exactly this trolley. I don't know if you can see my, because of my background, but this is the IKEA trolley he uses just to describe human population explosion, and I will share the TED talk I explained to you. So this is the solution. What do you do to control human population? Sabko Netflix ka subscription de do. You start watching Netflix and you say, okay, no more reproduction, less children. Correct? Any other solution you have in mind? Daniel, Mudabbir? We have to learn. It's a part of it. Netflix is not a part of your chapter, but something else is, right? And this is a part of sex education. As a teacher, I feel you have right to learn about it. So there are birth control methods. Very important. It's an exam question again. Good, effective, least effective, but simple birth control methods. So there are temporary methods, using a condom, a diaphragm, pulling out, which is, it's a very common Arab practice called coitus interruptus. So these are some of the common birth control methods. Remember it? It's an exam question. A normal one is contraceptive pills. So you take a pill, which is one of the common pills called I pill. So, after having intercourse, this is for females, they take a pill which stops the formation of fertilization of zygote. There's also copper T, which is, IUD, which is a interceptive, interceptive that you add so that the birth doesn't happen. It blocks the meeting of the sperm with the ovum. Very permanent method, and some of them are really permanent method, are surgical method. Implants. What are implants? Implants, for example, you do vasectomy in males or tubectomy in female. What is vasectomy? Remember the tubes we showed you about? they block the tube, they tie a knot. It's like it looks very difficult right now, but suddenly there's a knot. So vas deferences, you saw vas deferences, usko ghat band diya. So the sperm just cannot go. Poor sperm gives up and dies. So these are some of the birth control methods. Today, because of human greed, human lust, human being not able to control themselves and understand the importance, the sexually transmitted disease, STD, is on a rise. And this is important because people have to understand you have to be matured. STD doesn't happen by touching somebody. It happens when you have a physical intercourse with somebody. And among the STDs, so STD is a word you use, sexually transmitted disease, are these very important ones. There are 4 very important STDs. I'll circle them and that's all you need to learn. Okay, so what are the 4 STDs? There is chlamydia, there is syphilis, there is herpes, and there is gonorrhea. Gonorrhea looks like the name from Guardian of the Galaxy, right? The daughter of Thanos. Okay, correct. Remember these 4 names, standard names to remember: gonorrhea, herpes, chlamydia, and syphilis. 4 STDs. Very importantly, a very, very dangerous disease which actually is still struggling to find a cure. What would that be in the chart? 2 acronyms.
HIV.
HIV and AIDS. So HIV AIDS is another STD. They say it has come from the raccoons or what baboons from Africa, but it's a disease that spreads. HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus. It's a virus, right? Now corona has taught us how dangerous a virus could be. So HIV, you start becoming weak. It's important to be faithful. It's written. It's important to be careful when you have intercourse. You know who you're having intercourse with. When people go and prostitution, if it's on the rise and you're having unprotected sex, these are the diseases that comes in. AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. You must know the full form of HIV and AIDS. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. These are what we are talking about, the STDs. So that's end of your biology, end of the chapter. Thank you. This was produced by World Health Organization for the public safety. Thank you and good luck. Go ahead, ask your questions to me and then